Today, 1/4 of humanity lives in conflict-stressed environments, and these situations can be some of the most difficult, with the harshest realities of weak infrastructure, weak institutions, and people suffering short lifespans and endemic mistrust. Peacebuilding is the process to end or mitigate conflict, to rebuild and reconcile post-conflict, or indeed to try to avoid conflict situations in the first place. Traditional media has been an important tool in establishing the essential elements of post-conflict peacebuilding, and critical parts of traditional media such as print journalism and broadcast radio have been used in many situations for post-conflict nation building and reconciliation. But many of us are increasingly wondering what promise mobile telephony and social and interactive media technologies and platforms hold as new tools for peace building. At Georgia Tech, my lab, Technologies and International Development, has been particularly focused on the question of the role of mobile telephony and social media platforms in peace building within conflict-stressed countries and environments. The promise for peace building with using mobile telephony and social media platforms is palpable. As one popular formula puts it, as long as you're talking, you can't be shooting. Not surprisingly, a state's economic strength positively correlates with its mobile phone penetration, so richer countries have more mobile phone subscribers per capita. Similarly, strong positive relationships exist between measures of social strength within a state and mobile phone penetration. But what's kind of incredible is that the security indicator, which includes measures for things like conflict intensity, political stability, coups, and gross human rights violations, that measurement does not correlate with mobile phone penetration. It does not explain any variation in the number of subscribers per capita within the state. A high insecure state will have the same amount of mobile phone penetration as a low insecure state. Put simply, mobile phone penetration is sensitive to money, politics, and social conditions, but it's not sensitive to security. Why are mobile phones flourishing in conflict-stressed environments? My lab undertook a study in the West African nation of Liberia to try to start to answer this exact question. Liberia is one of the world's most poorest countries and one of its most conflict affected. Recently, we surveyed 85 Liberians, both within the capital and in rural areas, to try to understand why they were using mobile phones and to identify ways in which mobile phones were important to these people within the Liberian context. What we found is that the answer for many of these people in Liberia links directly to the conflict-stressed environment that they live in. In fact, mobile phone adoption across our informants seemed to be driven in many ways due to personal security concerns that very much relate to the conflict stress that Liberia has been suffering from. Social and interactive media, whether accessed on a mobile phone or perhaps in a cyber cafe, are increasingly being used in peace-building efforts. In particular, my lab has been examining the use of social media for monitoring and protecting free and fair elections in conflict-prone environments. In 2011, for instance, Nigeria conducted a national election, and this was after 2 previous elections had been marked by accusations of electoral fraud and had seen incidences of violence. Working with colleagues in Nigeria and here in the US, my lab developed a software system that aggregated across multiple social media inputs in order to monitor the processes of the election, look for electoral irregularities, and ultimately respond to incidences of violence. The system would bring together social media streams and in real time flag them for particular keywords, take those trends and histogram them or visualize them, and send those visualizations to a social media tracking center we had established in Nigeria's capital of Abuja. Our social media tracking technology was able to aggregate across these multiple social media streams and respond to electoral irregularities in real time during the Nigerian election. For the 1.5 billion people globally living in conflict-stressed environments, my hope is that this CACM article on peacebuilding in a network age will help to both encourage people to work on answers for these questions, as well as to engage the broader research agenda of peacebuilding, mobile phones, and social and interactive media technologies.